My wife and her family called me home, sobbing about my dad's heart attack. I rushed back, only to be handed papers to sign over my money, so I pretended to sign. Then dropped a bomb that shut the whole room up. The phone call came at 3:00 a.m., cutting through the quiet like a knife. I jolted awake, fumbling for the nightstand, knocking over a glass of water in the process. The screen lit up with Talia's name. My heart stopped. She wouldn't call at this hour unless something was seriously wrong. I answered on the second ring. Talia. Her voice was a wreck. Grayson, it's your dad, she sobbed. It's bad. He had a heart attack. It's not good. You need to come home, please. For a moment I just sat there breathing heavy, trying to process her words. My father, a heart attack. It didn't seem real. I threw off the covers, barely thinking, my mind racing faster than my body could move. My suitcase from last week's business trip was still half unpacked. I tossed in a few clothes, grabbed my passport just in case, and booked the next flight out of New York without even checking the price. I barely remembered the ride to the airport. The city lights blurred past the window. As I pressed my forehead against the cold glass, thoughts of my father filling every space in my head. Charles Hull wasn't just my father. He was the man who raised me after my mother died. He taught me how to tie a tie, balance a checkbook, swing a bat. The thought of losing him, of not even getting to say goodbye, made my chest ache. Talia texted updates the whole way, her words frantic and broken. We're at the hospital. It's not good. He's in critical condition. Just get here. Please hurry. When my plane finally landed back home, it was still dark out. The airport was nearly empty. I didn't bother to rent a car. Talia said her sister Belle would pick me up. Sure enough, there she was, waiting by the curb, waving her arms like a crazy person. I ran over, dragging my suitcase behind me. How is he? I asked, voice cracking. Belle bit her lip, looking nervous. Just get in. We'll talk on the way. That was my first red flag. I ignored it. I didn't want to think anything bad yet. I just wanted to see my father. The drive to the hospital felt longer than it should have. Belle made small talk about the weather, her new hair color, the construction on Main Street. I barely heard her. My mind was 10 miles ahead, picturing my father hooked up to machines, fighting for his life. When we pulled up outside the hospital, I practically jumped out of the car before it stopped rolling. I ran through the sliding doors, breathless, heading straight for the front desk. Charles Holt, I said to the nurse. He was admitted tonight, heart attack. The woman typed something into her computer, then frowned. I'm sorry, sir, there's no one by that name here. I blinked. What? That can't be right. Maybe he was transferred. She shook her head. I can check, but we haven't had any recent admissions for a Charles Holt tonight. Are you sure you're at the right hospital? Confused, I turned to Belle, who had finally caught up. She looked everywhere but at me. My stomach dropped. Let me call Talia, I said, pulling out my phone. I dialed. It rang once, twice, then straight to voicemail. Something wasn't adding up. Which room? I asked Belle, my voice sharper now. She hesitated. Maybe we should go to the house. Everyone's waiting there. Waiting. I was supposed to be running to a hospital bed, not attending a family gathering. My hands tightened into fists, but I forced myself to stay calm. If my father really had a heart attack, maybe he had been discharged already. Maybe they were setting up hospice care at home. That could explain it, right? But deep down, the first seeds of doubt had already been planted, and they were growing fat. When we pulled into my parents' driveway, the place was lit up like Christmas. Every light on, every car in the family parked outside. The smell of roasted meat drifted through the open windows. Laughter spilled into the night air. It didn't feel like a house mourning a dying man. It felt like a party. I dragged my suitcase up the steps and into the living room, and there they were. Talia, her father Gerald, her mother Cecilia, her sister Belle, and Belle's husband Marcus, all gathered around the coffee table. On the table were stacks of papers, a couple of pens, a bottle of champagne, sweating in an ice bucket. Talia rushed over, throwing herself into my arms. She was still crying, but now it seemed off, forced like a bad actress trying too hard. I'm so glad you're here, she whispered, squeezing me tightly. Where's Dad? I asked, stepping back to look at her face. Gerald cleared his throat behind me. Son, sit down. We need to talk. I didn't move. Where's my father? Gerald's smile was too smooth, too practiced. He's fine. Resting at home. He'll be just fine. I stared at him. You said he had a heart attack.